Hello and welcome to another glorious read. I am your host, Aspen Sage. Let's get into it. Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I hope you have the weather you desire. I hope you have just an awesome day to do what you need to do. So let's get into this week's review. It's going to be a part review. It's going to be a two-part, mostly because I am still reading the book because it's extra long. Right now, I am reading The White King's Favorite, the Dragon Empire series by Jenny Fox. Long ago, in the beginning, I read the first book, The War God's Favorite. So this one's The White King's Favorite. At the end of The War God's Favorite, when after Cassandra and the War God finally got back together, they started having a family, they started living their own lives, they started doing a story about their kids. And I didn't remember this small part until I started reading this book. There was a small part where this little boy and one of the princesses started talking and hanging out. But now going further into this story, I don't think they're the same characters. But regardless, it kind of does lead into this. So we have the war gods and the dragon goddess, as they call her, Cassandra, who was in the first book's eldest daughter, Cecilia. But they just call her Cessie in the book. She does have a stutter due to something that traumatically happened to her. And what's very fascinating with this set of characters, or as in the next generation, in the first book, females didn't have dragons. They had powers that dragons had, but not dragons themselves. Only the men did. This second generation did have dragons. So all the siblings do, all the boys and the girls, it doesn't matter. Of course, the sister that was in the first book is the Empress. She runs everything. But yet the oldest son of the war god, what was in the first book, is going to be the next to claim the empire, the Dragon Empire. Regardless, getting off track here. An old man came to the Dragon Empire, and his name is Cessie. Cessie comes and tells the Empress and the lady, or Cassandra, who was the war goddess' favorite, that he has come to ask one of the princesses to be the White Kings of the North, the East, correct, wife, to be his bride, to be his queen. Of course, Cassandra talks to her daughter about it and says, yeah, it's up to you. This is your adventure. You are a woman now. If you would like to go, that is your choice. She talks to her father about it, and then he's like, okay, to cry with you. It's his dragon. And, if you need anything, come home. Yosemite's a lot like, oh my god, they're just sending their daughter away. Like, these customs have changed a lot since what we know of them, and they just gave her away. But Cece's not going around. She brings Cassandra. Cassandra is her cousin, who is the daughter of the Cassandra's sister, who was part of the main story in the first book, how they were looking for her. So Cece and Tessa go with the old man. They go back to the kingdom. She meets the White King, and instantly they both got a spark going on. They're both looking at each other, and Semi's like, this could go really bad, this could go really good. He's like, I'm not sure what's going on. The White King, Ashen, he is instantly taken by Cece, and he's tries to talk to her. Come to find out, they had a past together as children. He lived in the Dragon Empire with them, and he had fallen for Cece, and Cece for him, but they were not old enough yet to be wedded to marry, to procreate. So the Dragon King sent him on his way. The war god sent him on his way. And he had to fight his way back to reclaim his kingdom from his abusive father. Well, now that Cessie's here, with all these lords of these big families, she has come find out that she has been enrolled by Yosemite, and he does apologize for being a low life and lying to the said lady, that she has now entered a competition with other lords' daughters to gain favor to win the king's hand and to become his queen. Because Tessa is there, she is like a personal bodyguard. They do befriend another woman who is part of this conquest, but she has no desire for the king. Like, she was enrolled by her family, but she's just like, I honestly just here for the books. Her name is Nana. Well, they call her Nana, but her name's larger. But she is very helpful. She's very chatty. She's like that overexcited, like puppy friend, but it's like such a golden retriever energy. So she's very excited, and she even greets Cry. So at first she was terrified of him, and now she just calls him Sir Dragon, and she even gives him treats and stuff. Like, she loves this like dragon. She's just like, I am so fascinated with this, and she just like will ask like 20 questions and everything. But regardless, she's an asset to this book. Also, in this story right now, is there's a mistress to the king named Giselle. And Giselle looks almost identical to Cessie, or Cessie. And obviously she doesn't like it. She doesn't like the king having this mistress. She hates that he basically replaced her. But this mistress has a lot of secrets, and it's clear because she even talks to the dragon going, you know there's other monsters here. So she's very sneaky. She reminds me of a fox. She is obviously the same descendants of the tribe that Cecilia's mother came from. And Ashen's like, she means nothing to me. He's like, she was just basically there to warm the bed because I thought I'd never see you again. He goes, I don't give it. But, flying F who gives becomes queen until you showed up. He goes, I didn't care about any other woman until you showed up. He goes, I just want you. And they clear the past. They find out what happened. I had a couple theories that were already answered. Like, Cessie wears a choker around her neck, and she stutters. And the king kept saying, don't talk like that. You don't talk like normal. It comes to find out that when he left, she went to go follow him and got captured. And these bandits kept like slicing her throat over and over. But because she has the dragon skin, it would heal. So now she has this really gnarly scar on her neck. What I knew was going to happen. I just knew it. And so it basically ruined her voice. Now, for the dragon part, they find out that I kept calling her Cece, but Cece's her dragon's name. I'm so sorry. Celia, or Cessie, they call her Cessie. Cessie. But Cece, her dragon, is basically dead, or they assume to be dead, or in a coma of some sort. So, like, she doesn't have her dragon anymore. And she basically tells Ashen this, and he goes, this whole time he had all this anger towards her family and not her, but yet he thought she would never come to him, and he waited for her, and he thought that she abandoned him and chose family over him, and come to find out that she was captured and tortured and lost her dragon, lost her voice, got nasty scars, and now he's like, wow, I am a douche for this. And he said that. He's like, I'm a dirtbag. And she goes, yes, you are, but I still love you. And now they're coming up with this plan because there was a murder attempt or assassination attempt on Cecily, or Cessie, and well, the king stopped it. And they spent the night together, but not in a romantic way, even though he's like wants to, but he finds in the morning when they wake that there's a dragon watching them. And he laughs. He goes, well, I never thought I'd be cock-blocked by a dragon in my own castle, in my own bedroom. But, and then there's Cry just looking in with his big red eye, babysitting him. And even the princess looks at the dragon and she goes, you need to let go a little bit and give me some space. So right now, as the story stands where I'm at, there's a murder. One of the first candidates get killed off. There's already been an assassination attempt on the princess. Her stuff has been raided along with her cousins. All their gold stolen, all their items ruined. So now the princess has come to a thing. She's like, I don't trust the consort or the mistress. She goes, I don't trust the guards that the king has given me. There's triplets that were supposed to be protection, but yet they're servants. And she's like, they do such a job. She goes, I don't trust them. She goes, somebody's been spying on us. She goes, somebody's killing out the candidates. She's like, I'm going to find out who. She's like, I'm going to win the king's heart and I'm going to win this contest regardless. So there's a lot of things that's on this princess plate where she's like, this kingdom will be mine. She's already done like being there. She's already won a couple favors of the different candidates that are like, you know what? We don't like the people that are running. He's like, we do like our king. And he goes, they don't hold grudges against her family, the empire, for waging war, and that the king's position is fragile. So they want to set her in. She's already gone to a few villages and helped out, like farmland and stuff like that. And obviously creating medicines and giving education stuff. So, or leaving gold for even people who have attacked her. She's just like, they're hungry. They're desperate. And she's giving them gold. So she's already making allies. And I'm wondering in the story when it comes to the end, if the allies are going to all join together to help her. Giselle, I'm wondering if she is not human or if she's hiding something. And again, I don't know about Cecilia's dragon, if it's actually gone, or if it's going to come back and save her. I don't know if she was captured or taken or something, and they're just using it, or like, another thing is the King Ashen has dragon scale armor, and they don't know where it came from. So it makes me question where all this stuff is coming from. Like, how did he get this? What is Giselle's actual purpose there? Just who is the murderer? Part of me says it's one of the triplets. Like the king has like ordered them to, kill her up, to basically keep Cessie's safe. But Tessa is also, I think, a major role. I think she's going to be the one to help her cousin get to the top. And it's not just her. I think Nana's going to help, and Nana's brother, Sabby, who Tessa has taken a liking to, and he's a royal guard. So I feel like, at least in theory, that she's going to get to queen. The princess is going to get to queen. Tessa's going to stay with her and become like her personal royal guard, along with Zab. And I think Nana's definitely going to become her royal advisor. At least that is my hope and dream. Because it really would be heartbroken if this yappy chihuahua of a woman is the reason why people are dying. Like, I'd hate to see if she was the bad guy in all this. Obviously, it's not Tessa, because Tessa's just like, what the hell is going on here? Why are you spending time with the king? Like, she's like, there is evil afoot. She's very sporadic of a woman. She is the spitting image of her mother if you read the first book. I feel like somebody's also trying to make a play on the king's life a little bit. Again, his position is fragile, And I'm wondering if it's actually Giselle or the triplets, or if it's one of the older consorts, one of the older lords or something. There's a few other women who are very snobby, and even reading the book, you're like, I don't want to slap you. You're a pain. Like, it's really bad. I will admit this writing is a little bit different than the previous book. It's more third person ish. That's the best way I can describe it. I can't say it's like my writing style, but it's like a lot of jumping around. So it's a little harder to get through. Not also that it's also like 600 plus pages. So I'm like, like it's still a good story, but the writing is definitely way different than the first book. The first book I ate up really quickly. I love that book. I think it was a really good one. And after this book is done, there is another one. I don't think it's out yet. But I'm kind of curious to know how that one's going to play out. But right now, like I said, I'm only about 50%, 33%, somewhere around that range, done with this book. I'm kind of switched between reading it and listening to it through my Kindle. So it's a really good story, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm also wondering, I also have a second theory about Giselle, though, is if she's actually helping. But I don't know. Like, it's like I'm wondering if she knows there's where she says, there's another monster to the dragon. Maybe she has a second water god who was supposed to be a water dragon thing that like in the first book. Or an ancestor or something like that. And she's gonna heal Cessie, who's Sissa's dragon. So I'm kind of wondering if she's actually trying to help or if she is the villain. Like it's a 50-50 chance. Like she's definitely a woman who is like deceiving. She's definitely one of those ones that you're like, red flag, red flag. It doesn't help that her hair is like bright red either. So, like I said, she reminds me of a fox. Like very cute, very, prim and proper, very delicate. But if you get close enough, she will bite. I am very like interested with the story. And Ashen himself, I really hope for a lot more character development. You find out about his past. You find out why he's so angry all the time, why he does what he does, how he got his scars. But he has definitely a soft spot for the princess, and it makes me wonder if it's going to grow more to a point where it becomes a threat to him, or if he's willing to give up everything to be with her. I'm also wondering, at least in theory, if there's going to be a big battle where, like, maybe some of the kingdom rides up against the king, and the Dragon Empire comes help. Like they come help, but they don't get too much involved. Like the war god shows up beside him or something like that, and be like, "Hey, I always knew you'd be a good kid. That's why I sent you off the way I did." Like I really am hoping that where they left off together in a bad reputation, that the war god and Ashen are gonna be together, and he'd be like, the reason why I did this is to make you stronger, kind of thing. I always saw you as like a son, and you did good and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm only partly through. It's a good book. Right now, I give it about a 3.5 star just because I'm only not very far through it. But it's the writing. The writing itself is kind of a hindrance to me. So at 3.5, spice, there is none right now. There's just a lot of like touching, kissing, growling, bullcrap like that. A lot of foreplay, if you will. They haven't threatened each other yet, so I can't really say that. But it is definitely the princess has some scorch against him being with other women. She's like, really? Others? He's like, listen, they don't mean a thing to me. He goes, I know it sounds shitty of me, but she goes, well, what about, this bed? I can't sleep in this bed if he has other women. And he goes, no, I've never brought another bed or woman to my bed. He goes, I slept with other women, but they'd never been in this bed. So she's like, okay. And she goes, we gotta talk about your mistress too. She goes, like, that bitch has gotta go. So she is definitely the idea of a silent storm. So she's got the fiery green eyes, the dark hair like her father. But he's like, knowing her family, he's like, in that stare, he sees her mother's calmness and collective and like silent anger, but yet he sees the rage and like the stillness and her father basically staring back at him in those eyes. So he's like, oh dear, I need to tread lightly. So he knows he can be bad and F up on many situations, but he's trying to make it work. But right now they're trying to keep their relationship hush hush just so they don't bring more attention to her. And of course, the princess is like, they can come at me all they want. I guarantee they won't get far. Because if Kai doesn't kill them, or Tessa, I will defend myself and kill them. And he's just like, damn, that's so hot. So I love this book so far. Like I said, the writing kills me a little bit, but the story itself is good. And I have so many theories that I need answers to, and I'm hoping to get through this book by the end of next week. So we can go on to Conviction, what's part of the Skeleton Crew book series. What I love, that is one of my favorite like series I've read that are like not shifters or dragons or stuff like that. Or dark romance. Well, I can't say it's not dark romance because there was a bit of darkness to it. Regardless, it's a lighthearted dark romance. Regardless, thank you for listening in. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Go have a nice cup of hot tea or coffee or cocoa or just some nice, relaxing, calming drink. Maybe go do some things exciting. Get some nice pictures. Maybe even just find a nice spot and sit with a book. I did that this week. I sat down at one of my local riverfronts. We call it a bay, actually. And it was just part of the lake, and I watched it. And I got surprised by seeing some loons pop up, and I never see loons. And I've lived in this area for a very, very long time and never seen any loons there. So it was nice. But thank you for listening. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you on the next review for part 2 of the White King's Favorite. Thank you, and bye-bye.